walk down. And then just as Darren mentioned, the great outdoors, just taking a stroll there. A lot of our students, if they're ever stressed or they just kind of want to go and get fresh air, but get away from campus, because you can get close enough inside the botanical gardens, it kind of feels that you're in the woods, kind of on a mountain, rather than trying to walk around all the concrete buildings. So I think that's another good spot that students really enjoy.
I'm glad somebody mentioned the Botans. I was going to if you didn't. That was where I spent most of my time as a student. Alrighty, we're moving on to the next question. So we got some positive responses there. That's great as well. So I think this is a good one for Jay. Is counseling free regardless of insurance, or only if you have university insurance?
All of the services at the Health and Counseling Center are free to students, with the exception of any lab tests you have or any pharmacy items out of our pharmacy. So all the counseling sessions are free. And that also includes psychiatry as well.
Awesome to hear. Thank you. Alrighty, back to the pre-submitted list. Does anyone have any favorite clubs or organizations on campus? I see a nod from Leah.
Yes, of course. Okay, so our student union, Highsmith, houses all of our student orgs, which at any given time there's 60 plus student orgs. So there is a huge variety. And then in campus recreation, where I'm primarily working, we have our competitive clubs and our club sports. So for us, Ultimate Frisbee is a really large club sport. So we have men's and women's Ultimate Frisbee. They've named themselves the Hellbenders and the Mud Puppies for some local regional aquatic animals that we have here in the mountains. They're out on the field right now practicing tonight. It's a lovely, lovely night out. And in 2 weeks, our men's Ultimate Frisbee team is traveling to Elon to compete. So we're excited for them. Another club that's really large is our Smash Brothers Club. So gaming Smash Bros. They have a huge membership and they have a lot of fun getting together, and they host tournaments as well. So those are my top two.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't mention the old esports arena that's kind of in your area. So that's another good space that those clubs can be able to use. Back in Highsmith, where a lot of them are, ACE is a huge one, which is our Asheville Campus Entertainment. So they're kind of the ones that put on the large events on campus. So they'll do a lot of stuff during our homecoming. They'll handle a lot of events and put those on. So when you all move in August, there's going to be literally a full week of events that are going to be taking place. One, ACE will be putting on some, but also Leah and her staff is going to be putting things on. Over in Housing and Residence Life, we'll have a huge bingo going on the night y'all move in. So ACE is a huge one. And then Super Smash Bros, I think, is a one that's kind of famous on campus that students really, really want to get involved in. And then you dive into the Intercultural Affairs office. There's BSA, Black Student Alliance. Then you also have SGA, which is really, really huge. If you want to get involved on campus, want to kind of make change, kind of own your experience, the Student Government Association is a huge place for you to be able to get involved.
So I would be remiss. I am actually the academic advisor for one of those fraternities that are on campus, Alpha Sigma Phi. So we have 2 fraternities and 1 sorority. And I think my colleagues would agree that our organizations aren't stereotypical, Greek life. And so it would be, if that is something you're interested in, connecting with folks, they're a really great bunch of guys and women in those organizations. And they do community service, they raise some money, but most importantly, they develop relationships with one another. So that's one thing I want to mention. The second thing that I have a lot of students is they have an anime club, and they do a variety of things. They watch anime, and they also, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but they get on some server and pick an anime character, and I know I have a couple students that really enjoy doing that. So those are the two ones that came to mind at first.
And I'm just going to add that there's also a HEMA club, or kind of a sword fighting medieval martial arts club on campus that is something I accidentally stumbled into during my time. Only went once or twice, but it was always fun to see those guys out working on that. Alrighty, so I think we're going to go to the next question, which is, some schools have rules for parking for freshmen. Does UNCA have any? So, Darren, I think this would be a good one to toss over to you, though it's not technically in your wheelhouse, I guess, anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess I'll pick that one up, but parking isn't exactly under me, but I believe freshmen are restricted for parking on campus. Still, we have resident and non-resident parking. Freshmen can apply for a waiver, however, for parking on campus.
I think that was actually just changed, unless it's been changed back. As far as I know, freshmen they don't have to apply for a waiver anymore. They may be restricted to different lots, but they can bring their cars on campus.
Perfect. See, not in my wheelhouse.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to double check.
And we need to update our website.
Yeah. So
But freshmen can bring their cars on campus. Oh, here, Dylan, you want to take over?
yeah, I'll kind of go on with it. So there's resident, non-resident parking, and I think a huge benefit I think a lot of students enjoy is there's parking right outside of your residence hall. Whether you live in Founders and you're able to find a spot on Founders Drive, that is, if you live on that side of campus, that is the coveted spaces to park. If you live in Mills, it's the same idea, but there is plenty of residential parking. I would say about 50 yards at max away from your residence hall. Obviously, not everybody can get a spot directly outside their hall, but there's plenty of residential spots and parking locations within 100 yards of campus. So that's not difficult if you're trying to lug groceries and things like that. You're able to also, if you have to park in what we like to kind of call a satellite lot, maybe it's not on central campus. Darren, if I'm correct, they can call University Police and we can have an officer come pick you up at one of those lots, whether it's at night or you have an injury and you can't make it back to your room. They can come pick you up and transport you directly to your residence hall. So those benefits are there. And then I saw the chat about public transportation. There's also there's the ART bus, and then there's some UNC Asheville transit vans and buses and things like that go around. But the ART bus is kind of the regional City of Asheville transit, and you can actually go get a sticker put on your student ID when you get here, and it allows you to ride that city bus, the ART bus, for free. So you're able to kind of go around, whether it's Walmart, Target, Harris Teeter, the grocery store, downtown, whatever it may be, you're able to hop on those buses no matter what, and be able to get around downtown.
And we also have a bike shop on campus that will both repair your bike. You can check out a bike. And I think I heard rumors that they were getting electric bikes as well.
Yeah, we have one e-bike in the bike shop. So don't forget your alternative forms of transportation. We're hoping to get more than one e-bike. So we at least have a pair to have some fun. But yeah, just like Samuel said, we have commuter and mountain bikes for rent. And please feel free to bring your bike to campus. And don't worry, when it gets a little issue, bring it into the bike shop. And we'll work with you to work the kinks out of that and get you back to riding.
Sweet. And all right, so we're going to go a little bit more toward residents. And how does picking roommates work? Are there different rules for roommates for transgender or non-binary students?
Yeah, that's a great question. So general roommate selection, it's really all up to you. So when you get accepted, you should get an email. If you haven't, you can contact our office. And we use a feature called My College Roomie. And so you all can log in kind of with that invite and be able to search and find who is a best suited kind of roommate for you. So you all get to choose your roommates. You have that option. Obviously, if you're unable to find one, no worries. You'll still be able to select a room. Someone can still move into that space. Or if you find someone late, when you select your room the first time, the room selection kind of stays open for a longer period. So you can go back and forth and try to figure out how to live with someone if you find someone late when it comes past the time of selection. And then the beauty of selection with that is we try to keep it, it's called what's called self-selection. So if you've ever gone to a concert, sporting event, whatever it may be, when you log in for room selection, it'll come up with essentially a floor plan of that room, the hall, the building, whatever it may be, and you'll be able to see exactly what spaces are open. And then if you hover over a specific room, you'll kind of get a snapshot of if someone's already selected that space, you'll get a snapshot of kind of their interests, when they go to sleep, what do they like to do, what are their hobbies. So when you start filling out your housing application and those types of interest forms come up in your student portal, your housing portal, make sure you fill those out as accurately as you can, because that makes it a lot easier for you all and other students to figure out how to select roommates if they do not have one. But as it relates to any student who's non-binary, transgender, we try to work with those very, very carefully and work with those on a case-by-case basis, because we want to make sure that experience is very individualized and that we are meeting each need for that student. So if you are someone who has questions about how that works, whether it's with roommates or trying to figure out which housing is the best spot for you, feel free to call our office, email our office at reslife@unca.edu, or you can find our contact information on the website, which is housing.unca.edu, and we'll gladly sit down, talk with you, and really figure out what is the best individualized option for you on campus, because we want to make sure you have the best experience as you can.
Thank you for that. And I did see somebody asked whether or not there would be a recording of this posted, and there will be. I'm going to pass this off to someone on my social media team who will be posting it in the next couple of days. Alrighty. Thank you for that, Dylan. So next one is a little more informal. What are your favorite restaurants around Asheville?
Oh boy, there's a lot. I guess 9 Mile is one of my favorites. It's, I guess, is it Jamaican, maybe?
Jamaican fusion. It's great.
Just so good. It's like spicy, but not too spicy. So I like that. And then if you want sort of a Southern flair, there's Tupelo Honey, and they have a couple of locations. So those are my 2 favorites.
I dropped into Luella's Barbecue today, which is right outside campus, and it was awesome. And then I would say White Duck Taco is a huge favorite.
Yes, these are all great. I can't deny any of these answers. Talking about barbecue, people are definitely going to have their favorites. 12 Bones is my favorite. I do love Luella's. I probably eat it both equally. And this is a tip from our current college students. You need to check out Del Vecchio's. It's on Merriman. I learned about Del Vecchio's from the students. I love it. It's Italian food, mostly takeout, but their pizza and everything they make is amazing. So Del Vecchio's.
Oh goodness, food. Like Jay said, there's a lot of options, whether it's an actual physical location or it's a food truck that happens to come on campus, or you just happen to find it when you're downtown somewhere. But likely everybody has their barbecue. I think one recently that's become my favorite is Bear Smokehouse downtown. It's a great outside area, huge outdoor area, music. You're right in the middle kind of the heartbeat of downtown, which is a really great spot. And then 9 Mile is really good. Downtown, there's another place called Mayfell's. Mayfell's is a Cajun New Orleans style restaurant. So if that's up your alley, whether it's jambalaya, etouffee, beignets are also located there, So if that's kind of your go-to food, it's really, really good. The best time to go usually is about mid-morning, because the lines can get really long on the weekends, but they do have brunch as well. But those are some really good locations to eat.
Vegan and vegetarian options, close to campus, but still downtown, is Rosetta's. And they've been around probably going on 25 years. Same with another location that is right in the heart of downtown is the Laughing Seed. More of a finer sit-down dining experience at the Laughing Seed. Really lovely.
I think we also got to say Zen Sushi, because that's a big place where students go, which is pretty near campus.
Absolutely. So I think we had a follow-up email. I'm not sure if you got to, or not email, question, Dylan. The email for housing, should they get that after they are accepted or after they finish enrolling? I believe it's enrollment, but you may know more about the timeline of that.
I believe it's enrollment. I was actually typing away a message. So the way to sign on, I'll actually put the URL to the website, the My College Roomie website, in the chat, so that way everybody can just kind of hang on to it. So to sign in, you would need to have your UNC Asheville email and password already set up. So once you get enrolled and get those credentials in, you should get an email. If not, you can just go straight into this URL here, the website, the portal, and sign in with the same email address or username and the same password you have for UNC Asheville, and you'll be able to get started on that, be able to find a roommate for you.
And you should be able to set up that email within 48 hours after completing your enrollment form. All righty. On to the next one. We've got, I think, another one here for you, Dylan. Is there assistance with transfer assimilation onto campus for transfer students?
Absolutely. It's a great question. So we actually have what is called a residential learning community on campus specifically for transfer students. And the reason we wanted to do that, you can apply for that RLC, is what we call it, in the housing portal when you fill out your housing application. So essentially what a residential learning community is literally a community where there are similar types of students living in that space. So we have three of those officially right now. So we have the TLC, which is the transfer learning community for transfer students. We have what is called the cloud. So if you are someone who is planning on majoring either in atmospheric science or computer science, you can sign up for that one as well, and live with people who have the same major as you. And then also, if you are part of that honors program, you should be able to get a link to be able to show that you're interested in honors housing. So that's brand new this year. You'll be able to live with other students who are part of the honors program there, but strictly with the TLC, with the transfer learning community. So we have a building in the Village, Gardner Hall specifically. So if you're a transfer student and you're wanting to live with other transfer students, so that way you kind of have the same experience together and really be able to build a connection, build your group as soon as you move in on campus, that option is there for you. So you'll have an RA, a resident assistant that will be able to help you kind of through that transition when you get here in the fall. But you'll be able to take a class, the LA 250 class. It's kind of your seminar class. Essentially, it's like a 1-2 hour credit course talking about trying to transition into college, looking at resilience and grit, taught by our Associate Vice Chancellor, Melanie Fox. So if you do end up enrolling in the TLC, you'll need to sign up for that course as well. But we try to do a lot of events after hours with those students in the TLC. They've been a huge part. When I mentioned athletics and students going, they've been a huge part of that, going to those events together. So you can all go eat meals together, hang out together. There's a common kitchen down there, and we've actually provided some of those. They've started to leave their kitchen appliances down there to make sure that it's kind of a community aspect for all of those transfer students that are living in the building. And then the other plus with it, I think is a big one, is if you apply to be in the TLC and you get accepted into that community, you're guaranteed a single room in that space. So it'll be your own individual bedroom with 3 other people in their individual bedrooms, along with a common living space, and then 1 bathroom to share amongst the 4 of you.
I also want to recommend the pre-orientation programs that we have in July and August. Drop that in the chat here. So our Office of Student Transitions and Family Programs, as well as Campus Rec, we host the pre-orientation programs, and this summer they're going to be in July and August. So actually, if you want to do more than one program, you can. They're open to all new students as well as transfer students. And our students here love participating in this. It's an optional program, and they're all before the first day of classes start, or before all student orientation. So you don't miss any of that. But you're in small groups of maybe 10 to 15 students, and you have 2 upper class students working with you for the whole week. So some are based on campus and really focus on Asheville and everything that there is to enjoy here. And then with Campus Rec, with our outdoor program, we take 2 trips off campus, and those both happen in August. And one program stays in cabins, and they do day trips to go. They do a lot of hiking, and they might go rafting or canoeing. And then we have another group that leaves campus, and they go to that same base camp, but then they head out and they go backpacking for 2 or 3 days. So again, all small groups of students and upper class students, and those students have a lot of success, and we've studied them, and they get more connected. They're either more connected to groups on campus or even employment on campus than the students that don't do the pre-orientation program. So it's great for all first-time students and transfer students to really get connected and build community before even everybody else moves in, and before orientation and before the first day of classes. That's your only focus, is just to stick with your group and have a lot of fun.
All right, and I'm just going to add as well, we are about a third transfer students here at UNC Asheville. So any sort of issues you might run into as a transfer student, we've very likely seen it before, and it's something we're prepared to help you with. And whether that be academic advising or on the residential side or any other part of your experience, we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that your transition is as easy as possible. Alrighty. Got another one. It says, I can't drive due to a disability. Will I be able to always have on-campus housing, or are you forced to move off of campus at any point?
You are able to live on campus for all 4 years, or however many years you're going to be enrolled here at UNC Asheville. We don't force anybody off campus. There's just that requirement of when you're a first-year student, you're required to live on campus. And then probably moving in, hopefully everybody gets second year. We don't force anybody to live off. So if that is something you want to do, we highly encourage you to live on campus all your entire years for your entire college career. There's just a lot of things that are beneficial: being close to class, being close to food, having transportation right here on campus, being close to all the events, having Jay and his team down in health and counseling be available right across the road. Just everything is located right here with your own little community, but you don't have to be forced to live off campus. It's a matter of what is your preferred space of living. So making sure you apply early when reapplication comes around in the next spring, and making sure you get on that when you want to start selecting your space, whether you want to move into the apartments after your first year, or you want to move to a different residence hall, maybe Ponder, Governor's Hall, Governor's Village, or the Village, whichever it may be after your first year. But we never force anybody off after their first year.
Alrighty. And let's see, going on to the next one. Sorry, I minimized here. Are there any tips that you have on finding a good roommate? I know you mentioned the service earlier, but I would also say the pre-orientations again for that one.
I think I think you hit it. That's the best spot. If you can't find, if My College Roomie isn't working or you're not finding good options, pre-orientation is the best option for that, because you're actually going to be able to interact with students, interact with each other on campus, and be able to really know if you're compatible. So I think that is the best way to do it. If My College Roomie doesn't work, or you're unable to find somebody, make sure pre-orientation. We encourage that kind of old school aspect of let's talk and figure out exactly, are we going to be friends? Because sometimes you can find your best friend from pre-orientation. It happens all the time. And then I think there was a question earlier kind of about which halls are best suited for first year students. And while I'm on here, I'll Founders Hall, Mills Hall, and the Ridges are predominantly first year student residence halls. Those are the ones we kind of encourage first year students to live in, and all three offer kind of different student experiences. So if you're somebody who kind of wants to live in the woods per se, or you want a quiet space to study and kind of get away from campus at the end of your classes, the Ridges is going to be that spot. They're kind of tucked in, essentially next to or inside the Botanical Gardens. It's just maybe a 3-minute walk from Central Campus, so it's not too far, but it's tucked away enough where you kind of get that separation. If you want a place where you get a more traditional aspect, having what is called suite style, so we don't have community bathrooms on campus. So suite styles like Founders Hall, it's located literally adjacent to Highsmith Student Union, probably about 20 feet away, essentially. And so that's going to be a more lively aspect to it because you have connected bathrooms. You don't have there's no common living space per se. So the lounges, the pool tables, the kitchen that's located there. And then you're just a short walk to Highsmith if you needed to grab some food or just go hang out and study in the building. And then Mills Hall is more of a suite style with a common living space. So it's just like Founders with two double rooms sharing a bathroom, but there is essentially a living room on the inside with a couch, larger mini fridge or micro fridge in there. So that way you all have a larger space to live. So it really offers each one offers its own thing. So it's really up to you, but those are the 3 halls that we want to encourage first year students to live in.
Alrighty. Are there any work study opportunities on campus?
Yeah, I don't mind kicking off with that one. And then if anyone knows more than I do, please jump in. Campus Recreation is the largest employer of students on campus. Right now we have about 90 student employees and we love it. Work study should be assigned to you through your financial aid packet that you get from school. So if you have been assigned that work study is a possibility for you, I think what you're going to do then is look at what jobs are available on campus. And I would also say, keep in mind, a job doesn't have to say that it's just for work study students. You have that eligibility. So we had a student already working for us in campus rec just with customer service at the front desk. And he came in and said, guess what? I'm so happy I got assigned work study, but I'm worried that that means I have to get a second job or I have to leave this job. Well, we called up the work study office and we said, hey, they already work for us in campus recreation. They said, great, we'll apply work studies to his job with you there. So you don't have to look for a specific work study job, although I think certain offices do have specific work study positions. But if you're not seeing something, just ask questions. Work study is a really great opportunity. So if you've got it, congratulations.
I would just add that those opportunities are listed on Handshake, which is the through the Career Center. It's like their job posting site. And I think you can enroll in Handshake and then you can see what's available on campus.
And I'll also add that there are a number of different opportunities all across campus as well. We in the admission department have people I know in residence. They also have student employees as RAs and NAs. So there's a variety of different opportunities. Whatever you're looking to do, there's probably a way to get involved somehow in that on campus through work study. Alrighty. So I think for the next one, you touched on this a little bit earlier, Jay. What is the process for filling prescriptions and getting medication through health and counseling?
Yes, so we have a pharmacy on campus, but it's a very small pharmacy. So it's really things that you would use when you get sick, such as antibiotics or asthma medicine or anti-nausea medicine. Anything that you would take daily, you would have to get at the CVS or Walgreens. We can obviously write the prescription, so you don't have to rely on your provider at home. So you would just make an appointment when you first get to campus, meet with our provider, and then they can start writing the prescriptions to CVS or Walgreens or whatever other pharmacy you'd like. There is a shuttle bus that drops folks off pretty close to CVS and is very close to campus as well.
All right. Do any of the first year dorms have suite style with a single room in the suite?
Great question. Yes. And we've actually added some more this year. So the way I'll try to paint a good picture of exactly what that looks like. So for example, we've added more in the ridges. So instead of having 4 people live in one suite, so instead of having 2 people, a bathroom, and then 2 more people, it'll be 1 person, bathroom, 2 people in that suite setup. So when you log in to that, when you get to start doing housing selection this summer, and you start kind of going through the buildings, they all have single rooms in there. Some may have more than others. But when you log in and you start going through buildings and looking at selection, you'll be able to see which ones have been designated as single rooms, because if you're able to click on it and then nobody else can join you, then that's a single room. Or you'll be able to see that you can't even click on that space, but they'll be listed as single rooms. But simple question, yes. So you'll be able, there are single rooms available in our suite style residence halls in Founders Mills and the Ridges.
We're getting low on questions here, so if you think of any, feel free to keep throwing them at us. The best places to study on campus. I'm going to go ahead and throw mine out, which was in the Botans by the river. Like, I would go sit down there, and that's where I would do a lot of my homework.
That would not have worked for me. I would be so distracted. I was an environmental studies major, so I would just be like identifying all the birds and flowers and trees. So I had to choose someplace really boring. So no offense when I say this, I don't think the library is boring, but you can find a boring corner on the 3rd floor corner or the lower floor corner where not a lot of people would walk through. So I had to go full, like, low distraction. There's also single study rooms in the library. So yeah, there's good places. A lot of times it is good. Get yourself out of your room and walk into a building maybe that you don't even have any classes in, and just mosey through the floors and find a place either with a good view, if that's what you like, or no view, which is how I had to work. And then my reward was stepping out of the library to the quad, to the beautiful view, and taking in the fresh air. That was how I would reward myself.
There's a ton of study spaces in the residence halls and then Highsmith as well. So there's 3 individual study rooms within the student union when you walk in that you can use. Lots of groups take that when they're trying to knock out a lot of homework. But also there's a ton of seating, tables and chairs scattered all throughout the student union that students really enjoy, just doing work with other students that are also doing work. Kind of keeps them on task, which I completely understand. I was the same way. And then within the residence halls, there's great lounges and study spaces built in. Obviously the Ridges has the outdoor study space. So we've added some kind of physical tables with some chairs. So that if you are somebody who wants to sit outside and study, you can do that. Ponder Hall has a great kind of what we call the Sky Lounge. It's on the 5th floor, and you kind of get a great kind of aerial view of campus. But the one that people don't know that's also in Ponder, it's on the complete opposite side on the same floor. It overlooks the soccer field, and you get a better kind of view of the mountains and the landscape around campus that a lot of people don't do. And it has a great view of the sunset. So if you're trying to really get a nice view of the sunset on campus, that's a spot. And then also the observatory parking lot is a great spot up there. But there's study spaces, lounges scattered all throughout every single residence hall. So if you don't want to leave your room, but you want to go to another space, or don't want to leave your building, but want to leave your room, there's spaces like that available within your residence hall.
And one of the things they both touched on that I'll bring back up is the nice thing is that most of the buildings that you can just kind of go through and find a space in there for yourself. Nobody's going to yell at you for being in a building that you don't have a major in or anything like that. It's a very open campus that is very welcoming to people just being around and finding whatever they enjoy to be doing. Alrighty. I'm gonna have to start coming up with some creative questions here to fill out the last 10 minutes. So Dylan, would you like to talk a little bit about the, since we had a student who was interested in the kitchen setups would you mind talking about the woods and some of the upperclassmen dorms?
Yeah. So to preface that, all of our residence halls have kitchens in there. It's just a matter of how many are located in that building. So for Founders Mills and the Ridges, there's a community kitchen located on the main floor that you're able to use. So it's got a stove, oven, sink, and all that there. So you'll just have to keep your things in your space. So, and we don't provide pots and pans. So you will need to bring those with you when you move in August. So all of that's located in there in those residence halls, but specifically in the woods, those are our apartment style living residence halls. So it's either a 4, 5, or 6 person apartment, depending on however many people you want to live together with. But it's a fully operational apartment. So you have your stove, your oven, your fridge, a full size fridge and freezer. You have a sink to be able to wash your dishes. You have a thermostat that you're able to change the temperature up and down. You have bathrooms that you'll be able to share, a huge living space on the inside. And there's a cool bar area in that kitchen. So you'll have bar stools to be able to sit. So students that live in the woods will either eat there, or it's a great spot for them to study in their apartments. And then in each individual woods building, washers and dryers, just like all the other residence halls. And the best part is it's free. It's built into your tuition fee, so you don't even have to pay for laundry. So if you're somebody who doesn't want to wait once per semester to do your laundry and you want to wash every single week, you can do that without having to worry about paying per load. So usually a lot of students, after they get out of their first or second year, they want to be able to have that independent style living, and that's going to be the woods. So being able to move over there, that's kind of coveted by our upperclassmen students, like they were mentioning. That's kind of where they want to be when they get to that 3rd or 4th year in their career here at UNC Asheville.
Alrighty. We've got, is pepper spray allowed on campus for personal protection?
Yeah, we've actually had that come up. We've never regulated that in terms that they couldn't have on campus. Of course, we ask that if you're going to carry something like that or something that you wonder if it's prohibited or not, we ask you just to bring it by university police and let us take a look at it and make sure that it's approved. For example, if you were to walk into one of our athletic events with pepper spray, you wouldn't be able to make it through security there. So we would want to check through those things and advise you on whether it's allowed or not.
Thank you. So we've got favorite traditions or campus events. So I'm going to go ahead and start mine off because I was a classics major, and the Festival of Dionysus every year when they redo the ancient gardens and there's grape juice and music and sometimes plays on the mini quad behind the main one. I was a huge fan of that and went to that every year.
So starting in August, a really exciting activity that you'll all partake in is called Rocky Palooza. And it's the first Friday night of orientation. So kick off that weekend before classes start. Your Bulldogs welcome you to the family. It's all about Rocky, our mascot, Rocky Palooza. And it's the entire first year class coming. Oh my gosh, this is just my theme today. Coming to the quad. We're going to have everything up on the quad. We're going to have dinner. We're going to have so many games, so many activities, music, fun stuff. It's just this huge, great festival that we get to have with the whole new class. All of you, our faculty and staff are invited as well. So yeah, Rocky Palooza in August.
I have two favorites. One, because I'm biased, is bingo the night you all move in. So the first night when y'all move in that day, that night, we have bingo sponsored by our Housing and Residence Life. And that's been a tradition for a very long time. It's a huge event. So you all and your hall mates, your suite mates will all come to Highsmith Student Union, and it's very traditional bingo. You get your bingo card with the little slider to cover up your number. We have a huge bingo ball machine that kind of pops out the bingo numbers, and we read them off very traditional like, and you get to win some huge prizes. Whether it's Bluetooth speakers, earbuds, there's been some wireless keyboards and mouse combos, some great Asheville swag, whether it comes with shirts, hats, blankets, coffee mugs, and then some cleaning packages, because we know sometimes people don't bring paper towels, Swiffers, vacuums, etc., or even some laundry essentials. So those are some massive prizes that students get to win. And then we try to have some large t-shirt tosses in the middle of that. So you'll be able to get some free UNC Asheville t-shirts before everybody else does when you move in on campus. And then the other one that's I would think pretty recent is the turning of the maples. And on campus behind Leah, there are maple trees. And so there's a huge kind of festival like on the quad, kind of indicating the first time those leaves are turning to fall on campus. They've had cookies in the shape of maple leaves, make your own scarecrow, and hot chocolate apple cider. And it's a really great time in the middle of the day to kind of come out, interact with everybody, and really just kind of embrace the changing of the leaves on campus. But it's the first time like fall's coming to Asheville, and it's fall is such a beautiful season here on campus. It's one of my favorites to see on campus and see the colors. If you get a good high enough perch in one of the residence halls to be able to see it. Yeah, fun fact, if you get a 7th floor room in Founders Hall, you have a great view of the mountain and the Grove Park Inn. It's a wonderful view to wake up to.
Well, I would say there's two things. One is Dylan's event, which is coming up, and we have a exam breakfast. And so the day before finals, both in the fall and the spring, I think it usually starts at 8:30. We have free breakfast for all the students, and we try to entice students to come by having karaoke. It's always a good time. I've been going for 15 years, and it's always fun. It goes to about 10:30 or 11 o'clock. And so I think that is a tradition we've had quite a while. The second one, which we actually reinstituted this year, is we do our homecoming in February because we don't have a football team. So our homecoming events are all usually about the third weekend in February. And this year we brought back the homecoming dance. We actually had it at a location off-site. Everyone can go, whether they're 21 or, they don't have to be 21 and older. But they have a dance and it's fun, and it was really a good time.
Yeah, Dylan took my favorite, which was turning of the maples. It's just an amazing time. He didn't mention the fire pits on the quad. as part of that, which was just awesome to come up on the quad, see all the leaves change, smell the campfires going. And Leah is the master of fire pits around campus. So lots of outdoor activities when it's cold out, but you still get to enjoy the outside. So.
And there's always a bit of mystery with turning of the maples. There's no date. We don't know. It's not always the middle of October. It depends on when the leaves are changing, which changes every year. So we're all waiting for the announcement to come across our email boxes that it'll be Tuesday at noon or whenever. Our campus also has a really strong Earth Day practice, which turned into a Green Fest practice, a week of Green Fest activities every spring semester. But on our campus, sustainability is such a strong theme and interest for all of our students that we actually celebrate Green Fest every spring and fall. And sometimes we don't even limit it to a week. Sometimes it's 2 weeks of activities. So we might have a farm to table dinner on the quad, or speakers from a local series, maybe about Smokies, the national park nearby. So Greenfest is a really great one that also another student org plays a large role in, which is our Student Environmental Center, the SEC. So really great activities. The students plan they plan it for the entire semester. They get to host it. There's always a Greenfest t-shirt each year, and also a campus work day. So you can volunteer that day. Even us faculty and staff, we volunteer that day, either removing invasives in the local creek or planting flowers on our campus. So it's just a really great way for us to get together as community and appreciate our lovely location.
Thank you, guys. And the last question of the night, I believe, which would be, how involved are student services and what are specific student services available on campus? I apologize, my dog is getting impatient as well.
I guess I would say in the student affairs division, which is most of student services, we have health center, we have the counseling center, we have campus recreation, we have campus police, we have dining services, we have leadership programs, we have student activities, which is all housed in the Highsmith Union. Who am I forgetting? We have an intercultural center, multicultural center that has a variety of activities.
Key Center for Service Learning. We
have
have a veterans office, and we've mentioned it tonight already, but student transitions and family programs.
And really a lot of this is as involved as you'd like it to be. If you are wanting to get involved with a specific part of campus or you're looking for services, I like to say we are an incredibly approachable campus. All of our staff and faculty are here and willing to help and listen, whether they are the head of an academic department or just an admission counselor like myself. We all want to make ourselves as available to you as we can. And so always feel free to come knocking. If you need something on campus, there is probably a service or someone who's willing to help you out.
Yeah, and we'll be at Admitted Students Days. We'll be at Welcome Days in June. We will be part of orientation. We'll be part of weeks of welcome in August. The first week or two of classes will have involvement fairs. So we'll be out tabling all of the services that Jay was mentioning. And one place that you might be able to find information about a lot of student orgs and campus services is our app for campus, which is Rocky Connect. And so it's really going to list all the orgs, when their weekly meeting is, if they have special events coming up, and you can get points for attending those events as well, which apply to an auction with prizes at the end of the semester. So Rocky Connect can be a great calendar and a great connection to different campus activities. And if you don't get that app now, you'll definitely get it in August.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our Q&A with UNCA. If you have any other additional questions, please feel free to shoot an email over to the admission office and we can help you get in contact with anyone else on campus as well. I'm going to send the email for that in the chat before we log off here, but it's admissiow@unca.edu, like admission, but without the N on the end of it. So thank you all for coming out so much. We really appreciated the amount of engagement and your great questions. And thank you so much to our great panelists for taking the time to help make this transition as easy as possible for our incoming students.
Thanks, Samuel. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, y'all.